The images of Elon Musk's 4-year-old son picking his nose behind the Oval Office desk just a few feet away from Donald Trump have gone viral. It should raise some serious questions, though, about the amount of unchecked power Donald Trump is giving Elon Musk and whether or not it is getting to his head. After all, why was the child allowed into the Oval Office in the first place during such an important meeting that granted increased powers to Elon Musk and his Department of Government Expenditure? Musk also outspoke Donald Trump during the meeting by more than 1,000 words, as it was Elon that took a lot of the questions from reporters, leaving Donald Trump to look like a lost puppy. And when the American president did answer questions, he had Elon Musk watching him like a hawk. Attorney generals from 14 different American states have also questioned Elon Musk's authority when it comes to accessing sensitive US government data. I'm not criticizing Doge, more Musk. Doge have found a lot of wasted taxpayer money, but at the same time that they are doing that, Donald Trump is gifting government contracts to Elon Musk's personal companies. A $400 million contract to enrich the already richest man in the world is quite outrageous. Moving on now to the Middle East, where the disputes around the ceasefire in Gaza have been resolved by the two parties, and the original exchange of 3 prisoners is set to go ahead for this weekend. Mediators from both Egypt and Qatar have been determined from preventing the ceasefire from collapsing, while Hamas have stated that they are also committed to the agreement continuing. A different Palestinian source has stated that mediators have received a promise from Israel to put a humanitarian protocol in place. If this assured promise is in fact true, then it paints a crystal clear picture as to which side it was that violated the ceasefire in the first place. On Monday, when it first appeared as if the ceasefire was breaking down, Israeli citizens took to the streets of Tel Aviv to protest that their government continue the deal and not cancel the ceasefire. It seems that they're convinced that it is their government to blame for the potential collapse and not Hamas. Now, this is still phase 1 of the agreement, and experts on the matter have warned that they are less than confident about reaching phase 2, which could lead to a permanent ceasefire in the hostilities. With the way things occurred this week, though, I fear that the experts may be right, which could lead to a continuation of the 16-month genocide. Moving on now to Russia and Ukraine. Earlier this week, there was a 90-minute phone call between Russian President Vladimir Putin and American President Donald Trump, something that should have been met with praise from leaders from across the world. And it was for the most part, except for members of the European Union. The European Commission has stated that they would continue the sanctions against Russia, despite the progress made between Russia and America at resolving the conflict in Ukraine. Which is quite funny, considering that Europe did everything that America under Biden ordered. But with Trump's America now wanting to make a real peace in Ukraine, the European Union is now stepping out of line. For some reason, they are determined to keep the conflict going, prolonging the deaths of both Russians and Ukrainians, but mainly Ukrainians. Today it was stated by the Russian State Duma that there was an exchange of fallen soldiers between the two countries. 47 bodies returned to Russia compared to 757 bodies returned to Ukraine. But Europe wants to keep the conflict going. For example, it was reported today in the Financial Times that French President Emmanuel Macron demanded that Europe strengthen its independence away from America so that it could continue the support for Ukraine. That's quite despicable. If Europe cared at all about Ukraine and the Ukrainians, they would have never given them billions of euros worth of weapons in the first place. It's never helped the country, it's just prolonged the death. Thank you everyone for tuning in. See you all on Monday. Enjoy the weekend. Until then, this has been Truth Uncapped, signing off.